Hi everyone, this is Holly from Hot Humble Pie. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and a big warm hello to my subscribers. I love you guys. Well, today I'm going to be making some really awesome things from Dollar Tree fabric, and as always, I hope you enjoy the show. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I'd love it if you click that button. For this project, I used a photo album. I used to have a cookbook that I lost during the move recently when I moved, and it was full of all of my favorite recipes that I collected over the years. I'm actually really upset about it, so I decided to treat myself and make a really awesome cookbook one. So what I do is I take index cards and I just write down all of my favorite recipes. Sometimes I tweak them, and that's where I keep my notes rather than having like a recipe box or something. I slide them in here. It keeps them nice and clean. I can wipe it because it's waterproof if I get food on, I don't get my cards all messy and stained. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to cover it with some really pretty material. So we're starting off with this fabric. It's like a farmhouse theme. I thought that was perfect for the kitchen because it always, farms always, to me, when I think farm, I think fresh food, fresh, wholesome food, whether it's fruits and vegetables or meats, eggs, whatever, fresh food. So I'm just wrapping it like a present. I'm kind of giving it a nice little hem around the edges so it doesn't fray, and then I'm literally wrapping it like you would a gift. And of course I have to make some adjustments, like around the spine right here. I do have to make some little slits so that I can fold the little flaps over, because obviously the pages of this photo album where they bind the book on the spine is in the way, so it allows me to kind of fold it down here where it's separate. You can see it right there where I made the slit. And there is also a little open area right there where you would put a photo in the front of this photo album, and I did want to preserve that because I had a cute idea and I thought that would give this little future cookbook even more character. So I'm just kind of tentatively measuring here and cutting out a little window. Now I was off just a little bit, and you can't notice it because of the way I finished the border off on this part, but I recommend that you actually finish wrapping your photo album or book or whatever you're doing up first. If it has one of those little openings in the front, finish wrapping it first where everything's already stretched and glued, and then make your cut for that little window. So I got lucky. I got by with it, but it would have been better if I had done it the other way. So I'm just going to literally tuck this material under the little area where, right there, you can see me doing it. I'm just wrapping it around the edges and tucking it under, because you can't stick your fingers under there. There is some give, or the glue. I have a little spatula there for the glue. The glue spatula, you can also tuck that under there to help you push it. But you can see right there, my fingers go in just fine. And if you guys want the link to, or if you're interested in this photo album, I will go ahead and link it down below in my description box, just in case. I had a hard time finding it, actually. Well, I had a hard time finding one that had 4x6 slots for photos that would, fit an index card, and there were only 2 per page. I didn't want a huge one with 3 per page. I just wanted 2 because that's, for me, a nice size for, easy to store away in the kitchen. So for this part, I took the pre-cut little fake photo that was in there, and I'm just taking some of the Dollar Tree burlap, this really light color, which I think is so pretty, and I'm going to glue it on top of that. And now we're just going to give it a quick trim around the edge, and then I'm just sliding it down inside there, just like that. It's that simple. So you can see the little Farm Fresh, I'm cutting it right now, the Farm Fresh little coasters. Those come from the Dollar Tree in a package of 3. I'm just going to use one for this project, and I'm going to go ahead and glue it down like a medallion. I'm not going to use it as a coaster, obviously. I'm going to glue it down in the center of the burlap. Next, to finish this off, I thought it would be really pretty to use this decorative burlap ribbon. I think it's twine, actually. It's not burlap, it's twine. This decorative twine ribbon from Dollar Tree. Also, it comes in a set of 3, and you can find it. It's funny because each Dollar Tree I go to stores this in different areas. I found this over where the rocks were and the shells were one year, and then another year I found it over where they had the ribbon. which in my Dollar Tree varies. So you just kind of have to look in both places, but it's usually on a hook because it's in a little flat package, and it has 3 choices. So I love it. I think it's great for just extra decorative touches. I think it works out great. So we're just going to go around the edge here and make a cute little border. And you'll see here as I'm going, I'm kind of flipping the ribbon on the corners over. I'm going to do it right here. See that? See how I bend it over? That gives it a nice corner, little fold right there. You kind of have to glue it down underneath and on top as well. You'll see I do it right there so that that little corner holds, but I think it finishes it off nicely. And by the way, the new pink spatula that I am using is like the original one that I was using when I started this little trend for spatulas for hot glue so you don't burn your finger, from the Dollar Tree. You can find the pink one. It's a lot firmer. The glue comes off of it right away easily. It just releases and peels off in a big piece. That's what the original one from Dollar Tree did. They have cheapened them considerably in the last 24 months. I'm really disappointed, so look for the pink one. All right, you guys, we're all done. I love this. Today, I'd like to thank Costway for sponsoring this video. This is a website company that has beautiful patio furniture. I have been contacted by some awesome companies lately, and I'm so grateful because we just moved and we pretty much don't have anything because we just came with our car and our cat and our clothing. So this gets mailed to you in a box. I'm showing you what you can expect. You get the tools, the screws, everything is coded. So it's either numbers or letters, but it's fairly easy to put together. And by the way, thank you to my husband for building these things. They sent me a patio set and a rocking chair set, which I have always wanted for my front porch. Who doesn't want that perfect rocking chair set for the farmhouse front porch? So down below in my description box, you will find a discount code and the links to what I got. Here is the patio set out on my deck in my backyard. And then there's going to be the front porch, of course, with the white rocking chairs. Now, I don't have any pillows on them yet or any decor on the tabletops because we are new to the neighborhood, but they certainly have some beautiful outdoor furniture, so be sure to go check them out. For this project, you're going to need some kind of cutting board shape. I grabbed this during Easter time, and I'm just taking off the top board right there. And I was surprised too. I thought the little tacks in the corner there, the thumbtacks, I thought those were going to be pointy like real tacks, but it turns out they are just the top of them glued on there. There is no actual sharp edge. I'll show you right here. See? Get it into focus there, Holly. There you go. There's just glue there. So maybe I'm guessing the Dollar Tree maybe did that for safety reasons so they don't have something sharp in case they fall off. Yes, that's probably why they did it actually. So here I just sprayed some water on the top of this, and within seconds it was just rolling off. It was super easy, and I'm using the little metal spatula that comes with like their vinyl. I think it's meant for Cricut type or just cutting machine projects, but that works really great for scraping things off. And we're choosing the buffalo check plaid fabric this time at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to cut it out to match the size of my cutting board, and then I'm going to go ahead and use Mod Podge to glue it down. Pretty much for all of these projects, I have to use Mod Podge because fabric is thicker than paper or tissue paper, and glue sticks. And I mean, I guess you could probably glue it down with a glue stick if it was a flat surface, but you still would probably have to seal it with Mod Podge to get it to stay for the long haul. It would be challenging to do it just with a glue stick. So I'm just being very generous with the Mod Podge and gluing it down, and now I'm trimming it. So if you can't find these boards because they were there for Easter, it's okay. The little square piece on the front is just more MDF board. So you can get a little rectangle Dollar Tree sign and use it to cut up for different projects. And you can just cut a piece of it off of that and then glue it on the front here. And again, I'm using tons of Mod Podge, being really, really, really generous and well saturated with Mod Podge so it stays on. Now this is that little square piece I was just talking about. It's dry now because remember I had sprayed it down with water to remove the paper. So I'm just giving it a little sand to create a nice smooth surface. I will say that it did scrape off all the way to the shiny part of the MDF board. So it was definitely like painting more on a plastic. It was nice. It was a nice smooth surface, so I was happy about that. And I'm using a little bit of apple barrel white paint. I'm giving it one thick coat. And when it dries, I have this stencil from the Dollar Tree. It's so cute. It says Farm Fresh. And I'm just going to use a sponge brush. I don't have a little stenciler sponge. I should get one, but I'm just using that. And I'm going to sponge it on. Now, I don't care if this is super clean and the edges are perfect because, you know, I'm okay with rustic stuff. But some people like that really clean, crisp look, which is a pretty look too. And if you do want that, just go ahead and stencil it with white paint first, let it dry a little bit, and then stencil it with black paint, and that will prevent any bleeding underneath. So now it's bone dry. I'm taking and cutting off the edges and using the little utility craft knife there. It's not a utility knife, I think it's a craft knife from the Dollar Tree. And I'm cutting around the edge to make it nice and clean. And I'm just going to make a pretty bow for this. I just make a bow with flowers. I do have a bow video if you want to see how I make my bows. It's linked down below in my description box, and it is time stamped, so it will take you to a bow if you want to go ahead and see. This is just a 2-loop bow, and we're all done. I think this is so cute. I love the navy blue plaids and gingham prints, I guess buffalo check and cream fabric that they have at the Dollar Tree. So I went ahead and grabbed some, and I knew exactly what I was going to do with this. Unfortunately, they don't have any red, like ticking stripe or any kind of striped red. Well, they didn't at my Dollar Tree. They didn't have anything red. I would have loved if they had had something in, you know, to complement this, not more buffalo check, but maybe ticking stripe red material. That would have been so pretty, but we're going to work with what we have. So same drill, you guys, plenty of Mod Podge, nice and thick. And this time I did a little bit of a cheat. I thought, what would happen if I took this Elmer's glue? It was that spray purple glue. The container was empty, and I figured the sprayer was meant for thick glue. That's what was coming out of it. So why not put some Mod Podge in there with a tiny, tiny bit of water and see if we can spray it out? And it worked perfect. And then it allowed me to use my hands with my gloves to smear that in. See, I'm spraying it right there. And because I watered it down just a little bit, it actually works great. This was another little hack, you guys. It's a great way to apply Mod Podge and get it. You know, you don't have to wash any brushes. You don't have to wash any sponges. And I got it down in the grooves. And when it dries on cloth, you don't see it. So it's not like you have to have nice, smooth brush strokes in one direction or something. You're not going to see it when it dries. So I go back to the sponge here, but that spray bottle, if you find it, it's the purple disappearing Elmer's spray-on glue. It definitely works. So we're just going to finish it off here with a sponge, and then when it's dry, we're going to do the same thing again. We're just going to cut it off, and my sharp scissors work perfect. You can use a file if you want. You can use the craft knife or utility knife if you want, just anything sharp to cut it off. And then we're going to end up with 3 stars. So like I said, I was hoping they would have something in red because I wanted the farmhouse look, the country look, definitely during 4th of July. And I decided to go ahead and do my own ticking stripe or something similar. I just want something like that, even if it wasn't identical. I ended up not being able to do, or I made the decision not to do really tiny ticking stripes, because at first I thought I'll cover this whole star with little tiny ticking stripes across, but I was worried about the paint bleeding, I guess, and I did it on a little scrap piece off camera, and I just remember thinking it's going to work better if I use thicker lines and a bigger stripe. So we're just going to do one big ticking stripe down the center of this star. It ends up looking awesome, and here I go. And I love doing this part. It is so satisfying when you pull it off and you have a nice clean line. But that's it. I just pull the tape off and I decide it's not quite thick enough because the star is so big. I do end up adding just one more red line on either side to do the final, ticking stripe. And here I'm just taping the tape right along the edge of the original line. You can see it right there. And I'm covering the little skinny line that I just made completely. And then we're just doing like a medium line. I didn't go for the big thick line. I did a medium line. I was still a little worried that the blue would overpower the red. So I do decide to add a little more red to this star by going around the edge and just distressing it using the red paint. And then I'm just going to attach it together with hot glue. Now someone asked me what I thought of Gorilla Glue sticks. And I thought, I don't know, I've never used a Gorilla Glue stick or the Gorilla Glue gun. So I went ahead and purchased one. I did. And we are using them now and we're going to see how they hold up. But so far, so good. And I'm just using the craft sticks on the back, just 3 of them, just to give it a little extra brace and support. We're using some of these wooden beads on some of the Dollar Tree twine. I'm just going to go ahead and attach it using more of this time the Gorilla Glue. Usually I use Surebonder, but this is the Gorilla Glue. And then I'm going to cover that with duct tape for extra support. And that's it for the back. And then I'm using this Dollar Tree ticking stripe ribbon that I found in patriotic colors. I thought it was perfect. And if you watch my Shot With Me videos, you were with me when I found that gorgeous patriotic bow right there underneath. I glue this little wooden star on the center. It's a cutout that you can get at Walmart in a little kit for $1 in the craft section, and we're all done. And I end up hanging this in front of my eucalyptus wreath. I got so many compliments. I think it came up so nice. I found these nice sized terracotta pots at Dollar Tree in one of my Shop With Me videos, and I'm choosing this sunflower material from the Dollar Tree as well, and we're going to go ahead and cover these pots. Now for this craft you need a lot of Mod Podge. You do, especially if you're going to put it in a window and it's going to have the sun on it. But be generous with your Mod Podge, and it is cheaper to get Mod Podge in those little bottles at the Dollar Tree than it is to buy a bigger bottle at Walmart, just so you know. So that's, it's kind of nice too, because it doesn't have time to glue and get really hard around the lid. When you use the little ones, you just kind of use it as you need it. So it's a nice way to store it. It's not good environmentally, I'm sure, because there's more packaging, but it is, it does save money and it is convenient. So with this material, I did end up having to go a little bit sideways because this is a cylinder shape. It's not totally perfectly symmetrical, it goes at an angle. So in order to get the material to lay flat without, see how I'm trying to make it go straight and I'm getting wrinkles, I'm like, okay, that's not going to work. You do have to cut it a little wider than your plant pot if you do this DIY, because you are going to need to go sideways if you don't want wrinkles in your fabric. And now I'm just trimming off the bottom, and you're going to see I kind of fold it back there to see where that line is, and I cut it down at an angle there so that the seams meet together again at the angle. It's fine, it looks good, at least it's flat, and I apply more Mod Podge on the top to finish this off. Love that craft knife from Dollar Tree too. They've stepped up their game. I bought it a year ago or 2 years ago. I bought it when it first came out and the blade kept falling out. It was driving me nuts, but they've made some changes and the blades do not come out now. So it's a really nice craft knife to work with when you consider the price, and it's super sharp. So really pleased with that. Just trim off the bottom. I did tuck it around the edges, as you can see there inside the pot. And now we're just filling it with some greenery, and that's it. That's pretty much just DIY, and it looks so fresh and summery. I love this. For this project, I just grabbed a Dollar Tree wooden crate right there, and I am choosing the color Plaster in Waverly chalk paint. You can paint this any color you want. I just want it to be a nice soft creamy white color, and we're going to give this one coat because it only needs one coat with the chalk paint. You definitely don't need two, but this would also look pretty if you had like a whitewash on it too. So if you do have a thinner paint like apple barrel or any acrylic paint, because they're not usually as thick as chalk paint, and you saw a little bit of wood grain through, it still would look really nice. I actually don't think you would see wood grain through because I have used the apple barrel white paint on wood before and it's pretty good, but there are other paints obviously out there, and you can purposely water down paint too to make it look like a whitewash. So we're just giving it one coat on the sides, the bottom, inside, everywhere. We're just making the whole thing a nice creamy white. I chose this fabric for this DIY, and I feel like maybe it came off wrong on the press there with the colors because it's like an aquamarine. I love the print, but it's not the right color green. It should be more like a St. Patrick's Day green. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but everything looks like when my printer doesn't have enough ink. So I was wondering if this was the way it was supposed to come out. But the fabric that I really wanted to use, that I originally had in mind, was this navy blue small check that I ended up using for a previous DIY, so I didn't have it available, but I think I am going to go back and switch this up and recover it with the other material. But for now, we're using this one, so I still want to show you my idea. You just cut a little square out here, and you're basically making a little mini pillowcase. You're just taking your hot glue, and you're going to glue the bottom, the sides, and then you're going to leave just the top open so that you can put some stuffing inside it. And don't forget to do that with the outside of your fabric facing each other so that when you turn it inside out like a little pillowcase, your seams will be nice and neat and you'll have the right side up. So I had some polyfiber fill that was like batting for quilts. It was flat, and word to the wise, it is better to leave it flat. If I had to do it again, I would just fold it on top of each other, because it comes in like a flat piece, like a quilt. I would just fold it and fold it and fold it and make it really, really puffy, and then just push the whole thing inside my little mini pillowcase and glue it down, and that way I wouldn't deal with any lumps or bumps whatsoever. But we're making a little pin cushion, you guys. I don't have one, and I need one, and I don't have any pins because I didn't have a pin cushion to put my pins. So now we're all ready to go. I have a little pin cushion, and I think this is a great idea to do with the Dollar Tree fabric. It came up so cute. Let me know what you guys think. I am having so much fun just looking at one theme in the Dollar Tree and showing you guys all of my ideas for that one item in the Dollar Tree, whether it's fabric, vinyl, whatever. It's a lot of fun. If you guys had fun too, give me a big thumbs up. And as always, until the next video, breathe deep, fret not, and do things that make you happy.